Are you sure you know all of the best tips to make sure that your cruise is smooth and stress-free? These 18 cruise hacks will transform your next vacation from chaotic to calm. After scouring forums, expert blogs, and Facebook groups, plus asking people on the ship about their real-life experiences cruising, we've curated the top 18 tips for smooth sailing. Sorry guys, it's the last day of the cruise and we are running around. I'm trying to eat some lunch before we have a special quiet event we have to go to, if you know what I mean. But tip number 1, always arrive at your cruise port the day before your cruise. If you only follow one piece of advice in this story, it should be this one. Many cruisers depart in the afternoon, so it might seem fine to just fly or drive to a port that morning of departure. But all it takes is a moderate flight delay or a pileup on the highway to upset those plans. If you're delayed in your arrival at the port, that ship is not going to wait for you. Similarly, if you're traveling overseas, if you're traveling international for a cruise, we recommend that you arrive 2 or 3 days early. This isn't so you don't miss the ship, but it's also that you have some time to recover from jet lag. European cruises in particular can be port intensive with lots of tours and walking, so you want to be refreshed and ready to hit the ground running right after your cruise begins. The second hack to make your first cruise go smoothly is to pack your bathing suit in your carry-on bag. Let me say that again. Pack your bathing suit in your carry-on bag. And why is this? When you first arrive at a ship, even before you get on board, you're likely going to be greeted by porters who will whisk away your luggage. It will be delivered to your room later that day, but it could be 5 or 6 o'clock that evening before your luggage arrives. Not typical, but possible. This also means you might not have access to your luggage or anything inside of it for several hours. Be sure to pack anything you might need these first couple of hours on your cruise in your carry-on bag. This means items like medication, a phone charger, sunscreen, a bathing suit, a hat, or other items that you may need that will allow you to head straight to the pool deck to start the fun. The third tip to make your first cruise go smoothly is don't overpack. Pack what you think you need and then get rid of half of it. You don't need 18 changes of clothes.
So I beg to differ. You need those clothes, but count out your outfits, count out your days. There you go.
Most cruises these days are casual, and you really don't need anything more than a few outfits to rotate through your voyage. If things get dirty, no problem. Most ships have laundrettes on cabin decks where you can run a load of laundry or two every few days. Now, I will say that Margaritaville at sea does not have laundrettes self-service, but they do have a laundry service you can pay for. The extra cost of doing a few loads of laundry on a ship is a small price to pay for the freedom of not having to lug a giant suitcase around as you travel to and from your ship. Plus, you'll want to save room in your suitcase for all the little treasures that you're going to find along the way. Hey everyone, if you're enjoying our cruise content, make sure you hit that animated subscribe button down below. Hitting that subscribe button supports our channel, tells YouTube we did something today, but it will ensure that you don't miss out on any travel tips, tricks, or hacks. Thank you. The fourth tip to help your first cruise go smoothly is bring your own drinks on board, but not Margaritaville at sea. You can't bring anything. Many first-time cruisers assume they can't bring their own drinks on board a ship, but many lines will allow this, usually with some limits. Most cruise lines allow for one 750 ml bottle of wine or champagne per boarding adult. One caveat, many cruise lines levy a corkage fee if you want to bring your wine into an onboard restaurant. Be sure to read the rules for your cruise line before you bring any drinks on board. Margaritaville at sea does not allow water, wine, or beverages to be brought on board. Number 5, bring extra toiletries. Yes, you'll be able to find sunscreen, aspirin, band-aids all on a cruise ship, but it's going to cost you. I keep a small go-to bag of over-the-counter medicines that I throw into my suitcase for every cruise that contains everything from cold medicine to seasickness ginger chews. And honestly, I rarely use any of it, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and have to pay 18 prices for it. Number 6, bring these items too. Clorox wipes to wipe down cabin surfaces, TV remotes, and if you flew in, tray tables on your aircraft. Poopery, obviously. A highlighter and Sharpie to highlight activities on the daily planner. A lanyard to hold your key card. Magnets to affix dinner invitations, excursion tickets, or other important papers to your cabin walls. Number 7, skip the buffet on embarkation day. Everybody boarding, head straight to it. To avoid the first day buffet crowds, head to whatever secondary dining option is available. Join the Facebook group for your cruise. Number 9, y'all, it's 2024. Do your research on your ports in advance. Port calls are very short, often just a few hours. You want to have a plan for what to do in these ports, or you'll miss out on a big part of the cruising experience. For excursions not booked through the cruise line, we like to use shoreexcursioneer.com, or if you're going to the Bahamas, discovermybahamas.com.
I'm alive! I'm alive! There's a great big hole right there.
Number 10, sign up for activities in advance when you board. Highly sought after dinner reservation times go quick. Take some time on embarkation day to get this sorted. Spa appointments fill up on sea days, but are pricey. If you're not going into port, save some money and take advantage of the sales on port days for spa treatments. Number 11, don't feel like you have to do it all. It's okay if you miss a few things. You don't have to do it all. In fact, you should force yourself to not try and do it all. Remember, you're on vacation. Relax, take some downtime, sit on your balcony if you have one, and just stare out at the ocean for a couple hours. You won't regret it.
Departure of the merchandise. Money is not returned. Just say no refunds.
No refunds.
Number 12, always carry the cruise port contact information with you when you leave the ship. When going ashore, always bring the ship's contact information with you. Those details are usually printed in the newsletter that's delivered to your cabin each night. If something goes wrong when you're away from the ship, you'll want to get in contact with the cruise line right away. Number 13, keep your phone in airplane mode. Contact your cellular provider for your international calling and data options. Number 14, download your cruise app. Your cruise line's app is going to have a daily list of activities, dining options, reservations, and some chat apps. If your cruise line does not offer an app, they will offer a printed version containing the same information. Number 15, don't book a room next to an elevator. Not every cabin on a ship is created equal. When choosing a room on your first cruise, you might want to stay away from those near the elevators or just above the nightclubs and other late night venues. Cabins just below the pool deck and near the anchor can also be problematic, as well as cabins near casinos. Number 16, use a points credit card for onboard spending. We'd be remiss if we didn't remind you to maximize your credit card points when making purchases on ships. The way to do this is to tie a travel rewards credit card that offers extra points for purchases categorized as travel to your onboard account. The Chase Sapphire Preferred Card brings 2 unlimited reward points per dollar spent on travel. Scan this QR code to check out a special offer for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. Number 17, don't tip twice for spa treatments and drink packages. Most cruise ships now automatically add a gratuity to bar bills, often in the amount of 18 to 20% of the total. But many first-time cruisers don't know this and write a hefty tip on the additional tip line on the bills when they sign for their purchase at a spa or a bar. Be sure to ask if a gratuity has already been included before adding another 15 or 20% to the total. Or continue on and add that additional 15 or 20% if you feel the value of the service you received warrants the additional tip. And finally, the number 18 hack to make sure your first cruise goes smoothly is use credit card miles and points to get to your cruise. Using points and miles to pay for your cruise doesn't always make sense, as it often requires a huge number of them to secure a cabin. But that doesn't mean you can't save big time by booking your flights to and from the ship using miles and points. That means free gas or free airfare. What are some tips you wish you had known before your first cruise? Leave us your tips in the comments below. This just isn't so that you don't miss the ship. Always, Lord have mercy, we've curated the top 18 tips for smooth sailing. Are you sure you know all of the best tips to make your smooth cruise? Are you sure you know all of the... This isn't so... Where is it? This is a long one. I'm just gonna have to read the titles.
What am I talking about?
What are some tips you wish you had known before your first cruise?
It's cruise day, it's cruise day, it's cruise day.
Now that you know the best 18 hacks to make your first cruise go smoothly, watch this video next to see the 22 hacks that will upgrade and enhance your cruise cabin experience. See you over there.